Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And also thank you so much for your patience as we work through some of the technical issues earlier. So we're just going to do a sound check. If you could just type in the chat that we're coming through okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that indeed we are. We have a full agenda for you today, a very exciting time or exciting agenda. You can see we have someone on the camera who I'm sure you're all looking forward to hearing from. But before we get started, I want to go over our agenda. Myra's going to kick us off with an attunement meditation. And then Susan is going to share some information about upcoming events and really the tale of Michael's tour in the United States, where he's finishing up in Vermont, those details. I have some information about the state delegates in our next meeting, and then we're going to hear a special message from Michael for the Ubuntu USA team. And then we will wrap it up with just some friendly reminders on how you can get involved and information on our next meeting. So hopefully that sounds great to everyone. So I'm going to turn things over to Myra. Myra, I think you're back in the room with us. So
I am.
I'm going to hop off the microphone. I welcome you, and I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, it must have been something in the design that we are not doing a 5-minute attunement. Instead, we had a plan for a 1 minute, and with our late start, I think that's perfect. So in this moment that we share together, I invite everyone to just let everything go, that you have your attention on all that energy that has been expended in lead up to this very moment that we're sharing together. We have Michael with us, and so it's a beautiful moment for us to just go to the seed essence of Ubuntu, that philosophy that emerges through the South African culture, that recognizes that the other is what makes us more human. It is that basic humanity that we regard in one another that matters. And so in the seconds that we have remaining, if you could just go silent for a moment, friends, and vibrate in the resonance and unity that's called forth in this philosophy of Ubuntu. And allow that to vibrate within you so that you may bring the quality of your attention and intention to be with us during this time as we all explore how to bring Ubuntu principles of contributionism into our lives. Thank you, my friends, for the quality of your presence and for the warmth of your being. I return this to you, Allison.
Thank you so much, Myra, in getting us focused with our intentions for moving consciousness to a higher place through Ubuntu contributionism. We are also grateful for you taking the time to center us and get us focused on what many of us feel like is our purpose in this lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
So Susan, I have your slide up whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you so much, Myra, for the beautiful meditation. Thank you very, very much, Michael, for joining us on this conference call and being with us in the United States. It's a real gift to have you here. And I just also want to say thank you so much to Star. I know she's not here this evening, but I just want to include her in resonance. And so we've been planting seeds in New York City and in Ohio. And I'll let Michael speak of the good things that are coming out of this. And I just also want to quickly share that in this next part of Michael's journey, we are moving into Vermont. And this is what originally called forth Michael's coming. When Bolton Valley and the good folks of Lotus Lodge said they wish to be a community. So we're going to visit them. But to start off, Michael's going to be in South Hero tomorrow with Robert Forenza. And Robert Forenza is the owner of a company called Hug a Planet. And Michael, you may not know this yet, but he's actually created an Ubuntu Hug a Planet for you and for everyone. So we'll be seeing those tomorrow. It's kind of exciting. And then an old friend of Michael's, Marna Eric, who has traveled with Michael several times when he's visited the States, has created Burlington. So we're headed over to Burlington. It's Burlington City Arts on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then we move from there into Bolton Valley, Lotus Lodge. And I know a few of you on the call are probably joining us there. But I know everyone in Bolton Valley is excited. There's been a lot going on. And I know you've heard me say this before, but Friday evening, there's a meet and greet with Michael and a dinner. And Saturday, and this is very, very important for everyone to know and share with all your friends and family, there will actually be a live stream happening. I'm sure Michael will speak to that as well. But that is happening on Saturday, October 1. I believe it begins at 10 a.m. and it's going to be through Neil. So it's a professionally done way of doing this live streaming, and you'll be able to have that link. We've done this before. And then October 2nd, we have our first mini fest, Ubuntu Mini Festival, where we're going to bring forth this, plant more seeds and celebrate what we're doing here. So I'm very grateful. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to call me or email me. I'm receiving a lot of emails, which is great, about these events coming up. So I hope to see many of you in Vermont this coming week. And Allison, I guess I'll hand it back to you.
All righty. So just to catch everyone up, if you are interested in the live stream that Susan mentioned, I put the link in the chat and so did Michael Knight. So you can have access and get signed up for that live stream on Saturday, October 1st. All right. And I will also include that in the notes for and when the recording of this video comes out. So quickly, I just wanted to, for all of you state delegates out there, you've hopefully received an email from me just prior to this meeting. Our next meeting is Wednesday, October 12th at 8:30 Eastern. We will record this meeting, and we will be, for discussion, is spreading awareness for Ubuntu or of Ubuntu. And you will hear Michael talk about the importance of awareness, and I know our team is we're aligning ourselves on how or ways that we can bring about even more awareness that seems to be abundantly occurring right now in the United States and across the planet. So I also included a little bit of information about what the state delegate role is. Some folks may get this a little, interchange this with the write-in candidates. This is not what this position is. These folks, we're looking for about 3 of them across each of the states to support communication, support people who maybe want to get the message out and are not strong public speakers, but want to do something to bring about awareness in their community. We are working together to bring out a list of ideas and actions that we can take in order to bring out the message and share it with others and come up with some creative ideas. This group is small but mighty, and they're come with lots of experience. So if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, if you feel like you're a good communicator, whether written or verbally, and you have some time to volunteer, please get in touch with me. I've included my email address on this slide. And again, our next meeting will be on Wednesday, October 12th at 8:30, and it will be recorded. So hopefully I hear from some of you. Okay, so now I'm going to hop off and I'm going to let Michael Tellinger, I'm going to welcome him once again to speak with all of you. We're very excited to have you with us tonight, Michael. And since we're running late, I'm just going to have you jump right in and share along with the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allison, and thank you, Susan. thank you, Myra, for that wonderful introduction and wonderful wishes and blessings to Susan, who cannot be with us. To Star, that cannot be with us. It's great to be here in the USA, and I must say this is, I think, the first time I've ever done a webinar from within the United States. And this is also my 7th year in a row coming to the USA. And it is by far the strangest trip, because the trip was organized for me by all the wonderful people here, the Ubuntu family, especially on the East Coast. And it has taken on a really interesting organic life form of its own, completely unpredictable, unexpected, and yet incredibly amazing, a journey of discovery, and has already produced so many exciting and fulfilling results that it is just very, very exciting to be part of this journey. There are some important new ideas that have come into our plan of action, and these need to be shared with everybody. And it's really this trip to the USA that has allowed us to formulate a plan, not just for the USA, but that will then be implemented for the rest of the world. For most other countries, there will be some that will be slightly different, but pretty much the plan of action that we've put together here over the past few days in New York in our strategy meetings will be implemented in Germany and Canada, in Australia, in Brazil, and various other countries of the world that are coming on board and getting as active as the USA is leading by example. So that's very exciting for me, because the USA is by far, well, not by far, but is the largest area in numbers of implementing the Ubuntu contributions and philosophy. And I believe our plan of action is just going to explode that among the people. So also want to thank Brandon for coming out all the way to New York and meeting with me and with the rest of the team here. It's been very fulfilling and very fruitful indeed. So one of the things that we're going to be looking at doing is firstly uniting the family, the coordinators of the Ubuntu family here in the USA, making the coordinators a lot closer, getting the people to know each other more, so that it really is a tightly connected group of individuals that resonate with each other deeply, and that's really important. What, by nature of what has happened with the Ubuntu movement over the last 6 years especially, is that it's been allowed to grow and people to share the philosophy and the message, and you sort of use the book as in the last 2 years, to use the Ubuntu book as some sort of a guideline. But because of the nature of the beast, that we at our hearts are people that want freedom and want to be free of any restrictions and any kind of boxes that we're placed in. We have, in some sense, allowed people to run off in different directions and just do what they want. And I've been finding people across the world doing all kinds of weird things with the Ubuntu logo and claiming to represent Ubuntu and what we're doing, and that is not always the case. And I need to draw a distinction here between the philosophy of Ubuntu and the Ubuntu movement and our plan of action. And although we promote the Ubuntu philosophy as a founding philosophy for the movement, it comes with a plan of action and implementation. And it is in that plan of action implementation that we have to have certain guidelines. And the time has now come to start putting down those guidelines and the implementation of those guidelines. Otherwise, this thing is just going to get completely out of control. People start making all kinds of claims and do all kinds of weird and funky things that they feel are in line with what we're thinking, what we're doing, and that's not necessarily the case. So this is why this meeting in New York was so important, and getting the clarity of vision, the crystallization and the focus of our plan of action, and really honing it down to what can we do that can spread this philosophy and be as effective as possible, as quickly as possible, to start implementing this and getting to a point of getting an example that will create the domino effect, not just here in the USA, but around the world. And I think this is what we have found. We have found that focal point, and it is, in essence, an extension of what I've been doing in South Africa over the last elections, the last 6 months, where we ran the local municipal elections. As you may have heard me say this before, I'm going to say it again, which nearly killed me because it was so bloody stressful and taxing on one person with more than 200 candidates and representatives around the country. Trying to orchestrate that, manage that, and control that was just insane. So this is what we're bringing to the plan of action in the USA, is experience, more experience, and 11 years of growing and evolving the philosophy and the plan of action. And once again, I need to go back to something that we got to keep in mind. This is a living philosophy. It's a living philosophy that keeps growing and expanding based on the expansion of the consciousness, of the understanding, and the deeper resonance of us really coming to grips with this beautiful philosophy, and expanding that and finding the best and most effective way to get it into the hearts and minds of people, and implementing it as well. And it's in the implementation that we have really been struggling, because implementation of this philosophy means that we have to get people to work together. And it is that thing, to get people to work together, that I have found remains the most difficult thing for us to do, to get people to simply work together. And with it come a myriad and a large number of complications, personality clashes, egos, all kinds of things. And this has been my journey and my lesson that I had to learn as well. And some of you that may have been involved in trying to build an intentional community, or have successfully built one, or thinking of building one, you will know what I'm talking about. It is a real minefield of personality clashes, of misunderstanding, of etc., etc., before we get to a point where people really pull together and start to create a united vision, or moving towards a united vision without friction. So the plan of action we are now going to start implementing is hopefully going to eliminate a lot of this, because of the loose boundaries of what the Ubuntu movement was representing until now. Was just the Ubuntu philosophy. This is Ubuntu. Everything is just Ubuntu. Everybody love everybody else, and we must all, and that nothing changes. We've got to stay as conscious and as united in spirit and heart and resonance as we can, but we need to have a common goal and a common focus to implement this on a successful scale, successful level, because it's that first implementation that will become the domino effect. So I've been waffling for a long time now, just trying to sort of build up to the big plan that we're going to launch. And the plan will also mean that we need to get complete resonance from all the so-called Ubuntu representatives, Ubuntu ambassadors, people that go out and spread the Ubuntu philosophy. They really need to understand this philosophy, and this is going to mean more online workshops, more online discussions, and I want to make sure that I resonate with all the people that are out there representing Ubuntu, that they don't just go out and do their own thing, which has been happening on a large scale, and it's just increasing all the time. That we do treat it like that there are guidelines, that we do implement a focused vision, and not just a free-for-all where people think that anything they want to do for, that they think is right is the plan of action. And that's where just to come back a little bit, the philosophy of Ubuntu globally is a philosophy of that can be implemented by anyone, anywhere, and we will encourage those people no matter where they are. But if they want to be part of this particular Ubuntu philosophy, then we need to start supporting and following our plan of action and the vision that we're implementing here. And our plan is, as I said, has really evolved over the past 6 years, especially since 2010, when the movement was originally registered as a political party in South Africa, and then this last election in South Africa, that was our motto there for the elections was one small town. One small town can change the world. What we did learn from the past 4 years of elections. Keep in mind that we've now had we have blended the Ubuntu philosophy and put it onto the political platform. And still, for the people that don't understand why we do this, it's really very, very simple. We need to use the tools that are used against us to enslave us. We need to use those tools to liberate us from the system. We need to inject the virus of consciousness into the political beast. That will make those people that are unconscious within that arena to maybe wake up. We never know how our message will reach people in that arena when they hear it. And what I can tell you from my experience in the political election, particularly this time around, is that although the results at the voting results did not reflect anything that we expected, what I can tell you is that the support we created and gained from among the people on the ground is unimaginable. And I'm talking about South Africa now. And the same thing will be echoed all over the world, whichever country we follow this path. Is the amount of people you reach during a political campaign is a lot more people than you would reach without the political platform, because during that period people are just naturally automatically more open to hearing what certain parties and certain candidates have to say. So it really is a golden opportunity to use to plant the seed and this vision and this beautiful simple philosophy of Ubuntu and contributionism into people's hearts and minds. Although it may not be effective on or have any results in the political front, we still use that platform to plant the seed and that virus of consciousness into that political beast. So it's just important to understand and embrace that and not be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of politics. It's supposed to be there to serve us. Politics is there to serve the people, not to hijack our countries, hijack our lives, and turn us into slaves of corporations. So it's those little reminders that we bring to people during the political campaigning, and reminding people that the people are the highest authority in the country. The people are the highest authority of the land. And it's the people that should be making the rules and regulations, not some shadow invisible government that has hijacked and stolen our country from us. And these are the things that people start to resonate with very, very quickly. You'll be surprised how quickly this happens. What has, however, become very obvious during this election period is that the one small town philosophy really resonates deeply in people's hearts and minds. And that's the philosophy that we've agreed to follow here in the United States and then expand that to the rest of the world. Germany especially, I think it was actually in Germany that the people in the March workshop that I held in Germany, there was just an incredibly powerful workshop over 2 days near Berlin, that the Germans came up with the idea that, hold on, we don't need to be in the elections to convince a mayor of a town to follow and implement this Ubuntu philosophy in their town. And that was like, such an obvious thing to find out or to realize. And that's exactly what it is. We don't need to be in a political election campaign to do that. So that's, in essence, our plan of action. Very, very simple. Brandon is currently busy. He left here a little while ago. And we have a very clear understanding as to what should be happening and what the documents should look like. So Brandon is putting down the basic understanding. This is Brandon Shelton from Dallas. He's putting down the basic fundamental blueprint for this one small town plan of action. And one small town can change the world is the philosophy here in the USA. And we believe that this will get many people excited. Already in Ohio, when we shared this, and I had the pleasure also in Ohio of spending 3 days with Rebecca Gratz that came up all the way from Colorado. And what an amazing woman Rebecca is. I really resonated with her very, very strongly, and her 86-year-old mother who came, and there was a real meeting of the minds and the hearts and the vision. And no matter where we went and whoever we spoke to, the moment you say one small town can change the world, people automatically start thinking about their small towns and thinking of the small town they grew up in that could possibly be the town that is the first town that takes on this philosophy and this to implement the contributionism and Ubuntu philosophy in their little town. And you just start seeing how people's creative juices start flowing when they start getting excited about this. And so the idea is really simple: to put the plan of action down in writing, to put the financial benefits and implications to this, and I'll talk more about that shortly, and then to find the towns and get the Ubuntu supporters in the USA to come up with suggestions and ideas of which towns they think may be eligible for this. Obviously, there's a size of the town that plays a role. And at this stage, it looks like the towns that we're going to be focusing on are going to be manageable, between 1,000 and possibly 5,000 people. And even if we find 20% of the people in those towns that want to participate in this implementation, we've already have a success story. But the idea is to find small towns and the conscious mayors that resonate with the philosophy, and especially if they have a sheriff alongside with them that supports them, that resonate with this philosophy. And we're looking at the small towns in the USA, and there are thousands of them, as you know, that are either failing or stagnant or just not going anywhere. And the mayors are human beings that want to do something for their people. Once we have a buy-in from the mayor and the sheriff and the council, and the mayor calls a meeting of the town, of the people, and presents the plan of action that he would like to follow, that we present to the mayor, we have already reached our goal, because that message will spread to other towns very, very quickly. You know that we live in a global village. So this is something that can mushroom and create a domino effect so quickly. Before we even implement the first step, the news and information will probably spread to other towns, and the people in other towns will then want to do the same thing once they see the plan of action. But in essence, this brings into the debate the very important aspect of money. And this is where we need to start realizing that as spiritual and as conscious as we may be or want to be or see ourselves, and as much as we want to create a future world in which money is not necessary, right now we're trapped in this world where money keeps destroying our lives year to year, month to month, day to day. And we're not going to achieve anything unless we have funding, unless we have huge amount of money to implement some of these ideas. And if you don't know this, if you've not tried to do this, I can tell you that unless you have money, every community project that you launch will most likely fail. I'm not saying all of them will fail, but everything that we've tried so far to implement in this particular Ubuntu contributionism fashion, unless you've got funding to allow to get the project to a self-sustainable level, the projects ultimately do fail. So it's really important to realize that to get this off the ground, we need funding. Now, if we get the mayor on our side, then we can follow the same plan of action we proposed in South Africa, where the mayor and the council use funds that come to the town from all the rates and taxes and all the money that the town collects, that the money then gets implemented and put into the development of the multiple community projects. And that's really the simple plan, where we create as many projects as the people of the town can hold and manage, where the 3 hours per week gets implemented, and the projects start to create income stream for those community, for those projects and for the community, where the people of the town are the owners of these projects, or businesses. Let's call them what they are. They are actually businesses that make money, but they make money for the people of the town and not for a business owner who sits in some fat office somewhere in an ivory tower in New York or wherever, right? So we use the community projects to empower the town, whether it's the basic growing food and milk and bread and cream and butter and clothing and shoes and whatever else it is, technology. So if we find a mayor that is resonates with us and wants to implement this, we have a very real opportunity to turn this town into this success story that will create abundance beyond its borders, and then start to export that abundance to the neighboring towns, and then getting the neighboring towns to follow suit. So I'm not sure how else to continue this other than to say, or what else I can add to this other than to say, we need to put this plan into writing. I forgot the very exciting extension of this obviously then becomes, you know, many of these small towns have people that have left the town and become successful millionaires or billionaires who love their little town and would love to see their little failing or struggling town to succeed and become a perfect example of a success story where people live in paradise, if I can use that word, a utopian life of abundance where everything is available to everyone, and we create this abundance on every level: arts, culture, science, technology, healthcare, shelter. Every area of our lives will just blossom and explode with abundance and creativity. Keep in mind that if and when we launch such a town with a willing mayor and participating public, participating inhabitants, we will then invite the inventors, the healers, the free energy creators and so forth into that town, and basically say to them, what do you need? What do you need to create a free energy device? Or maybe just bring your energy device to us. We will share it with our town and share it with the world. And if you can cure cancer, if you can cure disease, come to our town. We'll create a laboratory and research facilities to make sure that we can start curing people of all disease. So we basically open our doors to unbridled inventions, unbridled technology, unbridled creative, setting free the minds of whether it's artists, scientists, inventors, healers, not putting any restrictions on them. And this is really the simple plan. It sounds like, some people might think it sounds, you know, far-fetched, but you got to start from scratch and realize how frustrated and unhappy people are, no matter where you go in the world, whether it's in the United States, in Canada, in Germany, South Africa, Brazil. People live in misery, mostly everywhere. They don't like their lives. They want to change. They want something different. So the moment we get the buy-in from the people, the mayor, we could turn a little town around literally within months. And then we've got the first domino to fall. So it's the motto for the United States. In closing, it's nearly an hour since we've started. In the motto for the United States, like it was for South Africa, and it's going to be for the rest of the world, is one small town can change the world. Let's begin by turning one small town into this beautiful utopian paradise that we all imagine is possible for all of us. And then we've expanded that as well. Very excited when this came up with Rebecca Gratz from Colorado. We then approached the conscious millionaires, and there are thousands of these people who may come from that little town that say, I want to support my town. I'll put $1 million or $2 or 10 million into my town to uplift it, to kickstart these community projects. And once again, this doesn't have to be a donation. We don't have to be bleeding hearts begging for money. This can be a business opportunity for these millionaires, because ultimately, keep in mind that the model we are building, as I've been stressing for several years now, that everything we do within this plan of action is based on sacred geometry. So all the money that comes in from these community projects, and there will be lots of money coming in, because remember, now we have a willing labor force. If we've got 1,000 people in our town, each contributing 3 hours a week, we have 3,000 hours of labor per week. This turns our town into a powerful labor force, and it's with this powerful labor force that we then create the abundance. And this abundance will be reflected in the money that comes in from the things that we do. And that money that we bring in is distributed to the 1/3 to the people of the town, 1/3 to the business, to the managers, to the project managers, to the artisans, to the experts, whether it's the bakers or those that run and manage the businesses. And the other third goes towards the funders and the Ubuntu movement, so they can continue expanding the philosophy and setting up more such examples. So yes, there is a flow of money and flow of energy back into the town, which will keep funding and allow us to expand this philosophy on as many platforms as we can as this grows. The interesting thing about this is people ask, well, when do you unplug? When do you find yourself that you live in a town with no money? This is a natural, organic progression from this creation of abundance. Once we create this abundance where everything we do in our town is free to the people who participate, and hopefully that's all the people in the town very, very soon, even those that sit on the fence will start to participate very quickly when they realize that everything we do becomes available to them for free, including the electricity that we will supply very quickly, hopefully, after the launch of this philosophy in our town. So once the abundance of money starts flowing in, but yet everything is free to the people, very quickly, people in this community realize that they don't have to use the money, that their bank accounts keep growing, and the coffers of the Ubuntu movement and the council of the town that manages the town on behalf of the people, for the people, chosen by the people, as we've discussed before, the coffers keep growing because of the money that keeps coming in from the various projects. We realize that we don't need the money because everything becomes available to us because we create it for ourselves. And it's at that moment that the consciousness explodes and really rises very, very quickly. And I believe that becomes the ultimate trigger point for this to just explode around the world. We never know what's going to happen. We don't know what kind of technology will come out of the woodwork when we invite the inventors and the scientists. We don't know what kind of healing we're going to be able to perform until we invite the healers of the world to join us in our town. We don't know what kind of building materials we're going to create when we invite the material scientists, and what kind of artworks and art form and music we're going to get when we invite the artists and musicians and the sculptors to our town. It's going to be a platform of unbridled creativity on all fronts of our human endeavor. And it's with this kind of plan of action that we want to launch or end 2016 and launch into 2017, and believe that by the end of next year, 2017, we will find the first town, we will find the first mayor, willing mayor who resonates with us, who wants to help his or her people in their little town and turn their little town into that first town that can change the world. I'm not sure what else I can add to that.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. We all deeply appreciate you joining our call tonight and just getting us ramped up as we are about to hear and learn more about the plan of action that has been created since your time here in the United States. And I think once we get our hands on that and understand it and embrace it and continue that education, I think we're expanding so quickly. I think that expansion is just going to happen tenfold. So it's just going to be really exciting to see where all of this goes and how quickly it's going to launch. So I know your intention tonight was to join our call to go over what you've shared with us. I know you've got a lot on your agenda for the remaining days here in the United States. So I don't think we probably have time for a Q&A or anything like that, but we do appreciate you coming in and sharing your vision and just spending an hour with us and kind of keeping us motivated and moving forward, because I do believe it's our passion for anybody that's in this room and those of us who are watching the recording. So thanks again, and I think everybody can send Michael well wishes through the chat box, and he's going to be here for about another week and then travel back to South Africa. So we just wish you well in the remaining days here and your return to South Africa and that continued communication moving forward. We're very, very excited about your willingness and your knowledge, sharing your knowledge in that big brain of yours.
Thanks, Alison. This is it's very exciting, I must tell you, and I'd just like to encourage all those on this call to just let your imagination run wild and go out there and think about if you know any little towns in the USA, between 1,000 and 5,000 people that you think are perfect for this. Whether it's a failing town, whether it's a town that's just sort of somehow managing to keep surviving, or a town, even if a town is doing okay, but you know, the unhappiness is everywhere. What we actually discussed is it's not necessarily, it's like a makeover of a town in a way, right? It's like a town makeover, and just literally just coming with a whole different philosophy and giving people in that town hope and exciting them as excited as we are about this, that we can change things ourselves so quickly and so dramatically for the better of everyone in our little town. So go out and let your mind run wild and set your imagination free. And as we obviously, this is going to require a revisiting of our websites, all the Ubuntu websites. We need to start putting in some of the, you know, taking out some of the older materials and the older philosophy and replacing it with a new plan of action on all the websites and so forth. So that's going to take a bit of work, and then various activities that we still plan for launching of various events in the USA and other countries, you know, that I'll be sharing more about in the coming weeks. Very exciting times ahead, really. I think also the drive, which I forgot to mention, the drive to expand the Ubuntu family in the USA and around the world. And that's really going to be up to us to bring more and more people into this community, so that it's not just a linear growth, that it becomes an exponential growth over the next few months. You know, I'd like to see 1 million people be part of this community in the USA over the next several months, and it's quite possible if we keep sharing this philosophy and inviting people to join the database and join the mailing list. We can have 1 million people on the database in the next few months, very, very quickly. It's completely and utterly realistic and doable. So I'd like to leave people with that thought, that we do need to spread the message and invite people into this family.
All righty, Michael, thanks again for joining us. So I am going to do a little recap of some general things that Michael did share in his discussion. I know a lot of folks kind of get stuck in this spot of, you know, what can I possibly do now to get started and engage in this process, and you know, what with what I have, you know, going on right now. So let me try and share this with you. Okay, so of course, you heard Michael's theme. It's a lot about education right now in these beginning stages. You've heard us say we want to always be that one voice. We don't want multiple versions of Ubuntu contributionism going out into the field. And that's how we've been trying to organize. So there's going to be continued and even more emphasis in this area. And the first thing that you can do, the most important thing, is to buy the contributionism book. It's very reasonable. You can get it on, you know, Amazon.com. And I believe in the near future, we might actually have some distributors in different states. So again, this is information that you're going to be receiving as we progress through the coming months. The other thing that you can do is, and I know Rebecca Gretz started one in the Boulder area, a Ubuntu meetup group. You can also use the Ubuntu Planet site for this too. I know several of you have started the state circles, so you can use that tool. There's an events area on the right side if you are in the Ubuntu Planet website, so you can actually use that to schedule your meetups. I know that Trygve also uses that tool as well. He uses Ubuntu Planet to schedule his circles. There are also materials available. Jeff Henry and I have been going through things that have been submitted and making sure that it aligns completely with the Ubuntu contributionism book. So if you're looking for flyers or just some information that you can hand out, check out the websites that we have available. You can find all of those resources there that have been cleared, and making sure that that message aligns with what's in the book. In the next, I believe at the end of October, there's also going to be some video presentations available. So again, you can feel this theme of education. Also, come to visit Bolton Valley. Earlier in the chat, and let me grab it again for you, if you're, of course, visit. If you're not able to visit, they are going to be doing the live stream. So let me see if I can quickly grab that for you. And the price for that is $25 to view the live stream for that event. Let me go here. Oops. Oops, lost my page. Okay, here you go. Here's the link for that Eventbrite, and you can register to access that. So let me pull up my slide again. Okay, also we've got the Ubuntu Planet USA website. So this is run by the national team, and what we do a lot of mirroring of Michael's personal page, and then we also have some information that comes out directly for the USA team. So be sure that you've liked that page and are receiving notifications, because you're also going to see, as this plan of action comes out, these different opportunities that Michael has shared. He's going to be coming on at different times to share different information, like tonight. So you want to make sure that you are in the know of those opportunities. And you know, we can provide for you, or you can pull out some information right from the contribution book. We've been talking about that elevator pitch. What is Ubuntu contributionism? If someone comes up and says, they see you wearing your cool shirt, what is that exactly? You can prepare a quick 90-second introduction to what that is and begin that conversation. Another cool thing that you can do, you can see that there's the website listed there, the usaubuntuplannet.org, but what also is available there is a section called Who We Are, and you can see the different individuals who are making up the core team, and we believe that, or that national level team. However, that is just the beginning of that. I believe that that's going to expand, as well as we find that there are different niches for different people who see an area that they have expertise in or knowledge in, that they want to be useful and contribute their time to this effort. So one, check it out to see if there's a team already formed that you want to come on in and help volunteer with, or if there's an area where you're like, hey, I know about this. I'd like to see how we can bring that into the national team and help with that education piece. We want to hear from you as well. And of course, we always are looking for donations as we try to get Michael here and move him from location to location. Like he mentioned, it still takes money, it still takes time. I know he's exhausted a lot of his resources through the South African elections. Right now it does take money to keep us up and running, and so enough said on that. I know you understand. So these are just a few things to get started. We also have the newsletter. We also have the monthly collaboration meetings, which you obviously know about, and we're beginning to merge those email lists along with what Michael has from the main Ubuntu website. So like he mentioned, 1 million emails is possible on that list by the end of the year, and I believe that's happening because it seems like every month we're adding at least 250 to 300 emails without even putting a promotion out there. So I think if we can do a little bit more of that, we're actually going to get larger number of folks on our mailing list. So that'll be exciting to see. Okay, just to quickly mention that our meetings are always the last Sunday of every month, and they're typically at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I don't see that changing through December. But once you do register once, you should continue to get the notifications each and every month. You can contact me if you have any general questions, and Cheryl, who is our operations manager, she's also overseeing the volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering, she's the person that you would go to. So one other thing I wanted to note, Michael, if you're still here, I think he did hop off. So I will copy out all of your well wishes, because I'm not sure if he knew how to access the chat window to see all of those, and I think he'd like to see those. So we do have a couple minutes for any Q&A. Star was not able to make it tonight. But there is still Susan and Myra and myself, so we can try to answer any questions you have. I saw some questions come through about the mobile phones. If you're not on that Facebook page, there is one specific to Ubuntu Mobile. Information about the distribution of the space phones and other things will come out through that means. So be sure you're following that and receiving notifications. Where is the list of state delegates? We're housing that in a Google Drive. If you're interested in that, you can certainly send me an email, and we can chat, and I can share with you more information about what that role is. Okay, let me scroll down and see if there's any questions. I'm looking for the red question marks, just so you know, because it's kind of hard to see with all of these coming in. Yeah, I believe, Trigby, you can make an event and invite others for sure. If you're talking about the Ubuntu circle, Ubuntu Planet circles, you can do that. There will be a replay of the live stream. I'll send that out to the distribution list that we had, because we had to reset our meeting tonight in order to record. So I'll send the link to the replay to that same list in case you weren't here for the whole thing. Okay. Thank you, Omar, for your contribution. So I know that there's Nicola, this is in response to your question, will the Ubuntu USA Plan of Action Workshop be available to purchase if we cannot view the live stream? Are you referring to the Vermont live stream is for purchase for $25. The other areas that Michael was talking about tonight, about the brainstorming that has taken place in New York and Ohio with Dick Hogan and Rebecca Gretz and Brandon and Susan and Beth and Star and a number of other folks, you're going to get information about the different nuggets within the plan of action, and we'll be talking probably more about that at next month's collaboration meeting, I would guess. So right now, I don't know if there's anything to purchase for the plan of action information. I don't believe that that's going to be the case. I think that's more about getting everybody in that one voice mode. Hopefully that makes sense. Trigby, could you send me an email after? I'm not sure what this is, what that means, which meeting you're referring to. Myra or Susan, did you see any questions that perhaps I've missed? And I saw, Pete, your question specific to him. Hopefully you guys can talk about that once he gets up to Bolton Valley. Okay. All right, everyone, we're going to close out the meeting. I hope you enjoyed our time together tonight. I know I certainly did. It's always great to come together. It rejuvenates me and you know, keeps me going and keeps it positive. I think, you know, one awesome thing is that when we talk about all of these changes that we're going to see within the world, you know, continue to hold that in a high level space so that we can get there as soon as possible. I know I certainly want to be living that way sooner than later. So,
well,
Myra,
thank you, Allison. I just wanted to say you just did a fabulous job. What can I say? And I think many agree with you here, and we're lucky to have your steadiness and your stability to guide us through when the challenges hit us. And that's really what I think Ubuntu is also about. It's about coming together in a form of cooperation that allows us to be stronger and resilient as we move through challenging times. So thank you for really being a good example of that, Allison.
Thank you, Myra. You're so sweet. All right, everyone, we'll wrap it up. Be well, be safe, and if you're going to Vermont, I'm a little green, but enjoy yourself. I can't wait to hear all about it, and we will see you next month. And if you didn't get your question answered, just send an email, and we'll be happy to try and get that answer back to you as soon as possible. Take care, everyone. Good night.